Hey everybody, Tom Carnell here from Carnell Knowledge. This is a show I do 3 times a week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, wherein I review / recommend 5 movies, a book, and 5 records. If you don't know anything about me, I was a buyer for Tower Records, Record Factory and Warehouse for many years. I published Carpe Noctem, a dark art publication back in the 90s. And then I wrote for Fangoria and Dread Central for about 15-20 years or so, give or take. Now I'm an author. You can go to my Amazon author page, and there's a ton of books there for you to look at. Let's see. But that business taken away. Oh, by the way, please be sure to subscribe and all that other stuff. And if you go into the description down here, you will find links to everything. Links to trailers or sometimes full movies of the movies I'm going to talk about. Amazon links for the book I'm going to talk about, and then also full YouTube playlist for the record. So don't just take my word for it. Go down there, click on the link, and go check them out for yourself and make your own decisions. Let's see. Let's get started with today's movies. We're going to start in 1974. The movie is called Boryoku Gai, aka Violent Streets. It's directed by the great Japanese film director Hideo Gosha, who did 3 Outlaw Samurai. It stars Noboru Ando, who was an actual Yakuza member, who wrote an autobiography back in the day, and that sort of helped launch his cinematic career. It also stars Akira Kobayashi and Isao Natsuyagi, who is in a film called Go Samurai. The film has to do with a retired Yakuza is caught in the middle of a growing conflict between 2 rival gangs. That sounds familiar. There's a terrific score to the film by Masaru Sato, who did a ton of Akira Kurosawa films. This is a banger, man. This is one of the great Yakuza films of all time. The cast, all of the gangsters in this film just exude a palpable sense of cool, snapping on sunglasses, even if it's in a darkened room, snapping sunglasses off, and just giving that Yakuza slap to people. It's just awesome. The cast is populated by a lot of familiar character actors. There's too numerous to mention, but I kept catching myself watching this going like, hey, there's that guy from that thing. As usual, there's a doomed fatalism to the hero. You know he's screwed and it's not going to end well for him, but he perseveres and plows through, and it's just awesome stuff. There's a lot of exposition in the first act. I'll warn you of that. It's trying to drag the audience up to speed like quickly, but it isn't so quickly because it's pretty convoluted. And when the kidnapping of a television personality goes wrong, all hell breaks loose with our hero caught in the middle. Solid. The shootouts in the third act, by the way, are choreographed particularly well. And it's just a solid Yakuza caught in the middle drama with great performances and solid directing. Again, Violent Streets. I saw it on Tubi for free, so go check that out. Up next, there's a documentary also on Tubi from 2019 called Other Music. This one hit me right where I live, right in the heart, you know. Directed by Paloma Basu and Rob Hatch Miller. Stars a bunch of people that were really involved in this thing. And synopsis is as follows. For 20 years, indie record store Other Music was an influential hub of music culture in New York City. And that's it. It's about the rise of the place, what the place was like, its culture, and ultimately, spoiler, it closes down because of the new wave of digital and streaming and just people, rent being really high in New York. These guys were really ballsy, man. They opened right across the street from a Tower Records. And their whole motto is like, Tower does what Tower does, and we do what we do. And they were really into, like, again, that record store culture where, you know, you would wander into the store because you had nothing to do that night or that day. And you talk to some of the people that work there, and ultimately they would convince you to buy a bunch of stuff that you've never heard of. Kind of like this show. Deeply emotional, wholly nostalgic. It reminded me a lot of working in record stores myself. I just remember there are scenes in this that played out exactly how they did for me. You know, the customers that would come in that you would recognize, they would give you feedback on what you gave them last time. You load them up again. When I worked at Tower, Tyron Porter from the Dewey Brothers lived in our area, and he used to come in all the time. And I would load him up with stuff, and he never returned a thing. And he would always just look for me, come to me, and be like, "Hey, man, this was good. This was good. What else you got?" And I pile them. And I had tons of customers like that. If you go to Amazon, sorry to look away, but my new book out, Monolith Records, details all of this stuff. This reminded me very, very much of other music. The documentary has the spirit that I tried to capture in Monolith. And yeah, just fantastic. It's sad to think that music buying isn't like this anymore. There's no place to go, very few places to go that you can go and develop relationships with people, real people, and you know, get that feedback and that sort of friendship that would happen. Delves not only into the store, but its culture. Takes a look at some of the snobbiness of the agitated, overworked, and underpaid record store clerk. Yeah, back in the day, we were making crap for wages, but it was one of the best jobs I ever had. Wholly nostalgic throwback to what I call the heaven of the 12-inch vinyl. Clearly, the filmmakers loved this place and its culture. It's just a fantastic documentary. They kept referring to stores like other music as temples, and I completely agree. It's a lot more than just. It was about a lot more than just recorded music. In the film, in the end, the documentary left me feeling sad, melancholic, and like, those are the days, man. Moving on. 2003. This one's a banger, boy. The movie's called 2LDK, directed by Yukihiko Tsutsumi, starring Maho Namani, Aiko Koike, and Maki Sujimura. I apologize for the butchering of your names. It's about two actresses that live in a small apartment. The 2LDK stands for 2 bedrooms, living room, dining room, and kitchen. So these two actresses live together, and they discover that they're both up for the same part, and it sort of pushes them over the edge. Competition and the frustration of being an actress and all this stuff, and it sort of bubbles over. It was part of a dual project, DUEL project, with Ryo Kitamura, who did his version. His side of it was a film called Aragmi, sorry. And then the idea was that there was 2 to 3 characters in the film, shot in 7 days with a minimal budget and one setting. The first half of 2LDK is a lot of conversation, a lot of establishing the relationship between the 2 girls, and then things escalate way out of hand. Competent acting and directing. It's sort of a minimalist version, if you're familiar with the film War of the Roses, where it starts off like little petty things and it escalates into full-on just violence. Very fun, it's not like too many films that you can point a finger at, but it's highly recommended. And again, it was on Tubi, so check that out. Let's see, another thing I found on YouTube from 2006, a film called Altered, directed by Eduardo Sanchez, who was one of the 2 people who directed the Blair Witch Project. Stars Adam Kaufman, Catherine Mangan, who's in Monster, Brad William Henke, who is in Choke and the World War II drama Fury, and Michael C. Williams, who is in the Blair Witch Project. The synopsis talks about 15 years ago, a group of men's lives were changed forever by a strange occurrence. Now the same group of men will spend a night together in terror. Think the movie Fire in the Sky about the alien abduction, but flip it, where instead of that these guys had been abducted and they had lived their lives and their lives were kind of coming apart, a la Fire in the Sky, and then one night they get their hands on an alien and bring them back to their garage. And this film is far better than the Blair Witch Project. I never got the Blair Witch Project, but there you go. This one is way better. It's full of mystery and tension. good performances. The directorial pacing is really on point. It's very Romerian, if you know that phrase. I use that a lot. George Romero talked about, like, Night of the Living Dead. You take a group of disparate characters and you lock them in a room and just watch them bounce off of each other. It's a unique turn of events. It gets a little heavy-handed at the end. The gore effects are great. The monster is very, very cool. Several plot lines in the film kind of get left unattended. There's plenty of meat left on the table, no pun intended. Yeah, there's a really great film in here somewhere, but this one is good, but it's just not what I think it could have been. It's polarizing. I find, looking through the reviews, you're either going to really love this film or you're going to really hate it. But it's not bad. I enjoyed it. Again, I found it on YouTube. Just go in with metered expectations, and you might be surprised. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So there you go. Moving on to a film I didn't really enjoy. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the original Polish name, but it's called The Third Part of the Night. It's from 1974. It's directed by Andrzej Zulawski. If you're familiar with the Isabella Adjani, Sam Keith film Possession that people seem to love, he directed that. Stars Margot Sada Bronk, who is in LYLA, and Leszek Telezinski, who is in The Devil. The synopsis, and I hope you can make sense of this. During Nazi occupation of World War II Poland, after his family's slaughter, a husband joins the resistance while hunted by the Gestapo. He aids a woman in labor, works as a typhus vaccine guinea pig, and confronts a man tortured in his place. It shares a lot of parallels with Possession. This was made, the third part of the night was made before Possession. It's the director's first film. It's very kind of reminiscent of L.M. Klimov's 1985 film Come and See, which is harrowing. It's an amazing film. If you get a chance to see Come and See, do it, but be ready. It's going to really work on your emotions. Full disclosure, I'm not a fan of Possession. A lot of people really love it. It's getting a new 4K release, and everyone's very excited. I couldn't care less. I don't know why, but it never really resonated with me. I'll give you a trigger warning on Third Part of the Night. It shows a woman giving birth, and it's pretty, like, up there. Overall, the film, though, is hallucinatory and a little difficult to follow. It's definitely an art film. Lots of flashbacks. The timeline gets confusing. There's doppelgangers. Overall, I think the film is far too slow and way too complicated. Art film fans will probably dig it. Everybody else will be left like I did, just kind of scratching your head and saying, what did I just spend an hour and a half on? So there you go. Those are the films. Moving on to our book. A book called the Harry Harrison MEGAPACK. It was released in 2016. This is available on ebook. Collects 12 novels and a bunch of stories by the author of the Stainless Steel Rat series, including the classic sci-fi novels DEATHWORLD and Planet of the Damned. This thing is over 700 pages. I grew up reading the DEATHWORLD trilogy. I just loving them. And this is included here in this collection. It's a lot of stuff. And boy, do the good, the bad, and the ugly apply here. Some of the stuff is really great. I think the DEATHWORLD series is really great. I think the Stainless Steel Rat series is interesting. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. But I think most of it is solid. And Harrison is one of the seminal sci-fi writers. So yeah, is it worth checking out? Absolutely. And you can get it for like $3 or $4, something like that. I forget what it was, but it's not expensive. And it's 700 pages. It's gigantic. And yeah, good stuff. If you're an ebook reader, you're going to really dig this. Moving on to our records, and then we'll get out of here. A real wide variety again this week. Our first record from 2026, the band is called Hello Meteor. The album is called On World Ordinary Nights. Nostalgic 80s inspired cinematic landscapes. Chill wave, synthwave, ambient. that kind of stuff. Super relaxing kind of thing. Richly layered, complex textures that are calming yet intricate enough to warrant focused listening. That's from the press kit. Electronics are both interesting and inspirational. It reminded me of things or bands like Cerulean, Tycho, Silence, VIQ, Board of Canada, and Electronic Vision. I like this record a lot. It's pretty chill, but I'm a big fan of that kind of stuff anyway. So yeah, Hello Meteor on World Ordinary Nights. Up next from 2026, this also just came out. Yosef Gutman, it's called RESISEI LYLA. RESISEI, LYLA. It's acoustic guitar and violin. Draws heavily on the music of Jerusalem, but also on other global inspirations, and it's great stuff. A stunningly lovely record. My wife and I really enjoyed this. But again, they're not in a hurry to get anywhere, but boy, is the trip worth it. It's good for either early morning or late night listening. It's very, 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 very chill. Reminded me of artists like Mike Block, Tal Yahalem, Petros Klampanis, Michael League, and the cellist Eugene Frizan. Good stuff, beautiful stuff. Go to the description, click on the link and see for yourself. Up next, 2023. Italian artist Pepe Maina, Maina. The album is called Song of Seasons. This is lush orchestrations of progressive rock, new age, and jazz. Very rhythmic, very welcoming, you know. Velvety synth, deeply rhythmic guitars, and thrumming percussion. Feels free-flowing, and yet it still remains pretty intricately constructed. I like Pepe Maina a lot. I've reviewed one or two of his records before on the show. But yeah, great stuff. Reminded me of things like the music of Hans Joachim Rodelius, Barry Cleveland, Vangelis, Mike Oldfield, Patrick O'Hearn, that kind of thing. Beautiful stuff, great stuff, very chill-worthy, you know what I mean? Smoke them if you got them, that kind of thing. Yeah, good stuff all the way around. Let's see, two more. 1978. Oh, this is a powerhouse supergroup. So follow me on this one. Billy Cobham on drums, Steve Kahn on guitar, Alphonso Johnson on bass, Tom Scott on sax. The album is called, from 1978, called ALIVEMUTHERFORYA. It's all one big long word. They're just jazz heavyweights in a heady summit. Just everyone having a time of their life, having a great, you know, soloing and playing and just being a band, man. Still accessible for those who don't like jazz and they don't like fusion. I mean, the music is what it is. It's just great stuff all the way around. There's just consummate musicians playing at their best and having fun. It is not a Billy Cobham record, so it's not just because his name comes first doesn't mean that the drums get shoved up to the forefront. This is very much a band, even though it's they didn't play together for long. But I consider this one of the absolutely essential records to have in your collection. Almost more the Billy Cobham spectrum. I would put that in that same sort of general area. Reminding me of the music of Larry Coryell, Weather Report, Jean-Luc Ponty, Return to Forever, Mahavishnu Orchestra, Tony Williams. You with me on all that stuff? It's a great record. It's a great set. Again, these guys were just having just the time of their lives, and boy, does it show. Our last record is kind of a cheat. I have two records by the same band. The band is called Amuse-Bouche, AMUSE-BOUCHE. First record is from 2013. It's called Come Holy Ghost, and the other one is from 2012. It's called Oliver. The band is from Switzerland. They blend sort of classical music, jazz, and rock seamlessly. It's quirky, but it's fascinating. There's some choir and vocal work done, especially on Come Holy Ghost, that is just amazing, amazing stuff. Well-rounded and intriguing. Every album of theirs sounds just a little bit different. It's almost like they come together and make a sound, and then they depart for a little while. Then when they come back together, they make a completely different sound, and all of it's great. There's a variety of musical styles on display that is very, very, very appealing. I love these records. I thought they were absolutely fantastic. I'd never heard of the band before. I forget how it came across my desk. But yeah, as soon as I heard it, I immediately threw it on the list to talk to you guys about. Reminding me of things like Night Noise, the old Windham Hill band, Hippocampus, Les Vampirettes, and Weather Report. Great stuff all the way around. And that's going to do it for this week. Not this week, for this episode. Go and check out my shorts. I'm doing shorts every day now. Reviewing separately. I'm reviewing a couple of movies, usually the ones I watched the night before, and a record. And I'm getting a good response from that, so I'm going to keep doing that. Comment below. I get back to people pretty quickly, and by all means, subscribe to the channel. That's what really helps me out. And I will be back in a couple of days with I got a whole pile of other stuff here that is really, really great stuff. So I appreciate you, and I'm very grateful that you all tune in. So again, subscribe, like, hit the bell, all that stuff. Other than that, see you soon.